And a big part of making the ag economy successful is a strong workforce. It's why the House developed their Ag Labor Working Group last summer. And after months of talks, their final report has been released with more than 15 unanimous recommendations. House Ag Committee Chair G.T. Thompson says after listening to producers nationwide, it's become clear a lack of labor is one of the industry's biggest challenges. Now, some of their recommendations include streamlining the hiring of H-2A employees, expanding that program to meet year-round needs, and paying employees based on duties they perform during the majority of their day, and reforming wage calculation standards to improve stability in farm worker pay rates. Both Canada and the U.S. have new jobs numbers to reflect on and analyze. Host of Real Ag Radio, Sean Haney, joins us now with the very latest. Sean, good to have you with us. So what did the Canada report for jobs growth in January?
Hey, great to be with you here this morning. So Canada's economy added a net 40,700 jobs in February, more than double the expected gain, actually. And though wage growth slowed for the second consecutive month and the jobless rate ticked up to 5.8%, according to the data. So now, one of the concerning things here is that population growth continued to outpace employment growth, and that led to a 0.1% fall in the unemployment rate. We did hear from Bank of Canada Governor Tiff Macklem earlier this week. The Bank of Canada held on interest rates for the fifth consecutive meeting, and he didn't exactly provide a lot of guidance on what the Bank of Canada intends to do with interest rates going forward. He was pretty tight-lipped.
Did you have any thoughts on the U.S. jobs numbers?
Yeah, well, as you probably were talking about, non-farm payrolls advanced 275,000 last month, following, and the piece everyone's sort of pointing to is that this revision downwards the prior 2 months, 167,000 jobs. And also the unemployment rate rose to 3.9%. Of course, we heard from the Federal Reserve earlier this week saying, that the data is looking, indicating confidence for the Fed to begin to reduce rates. And I think Canada is waiting for the Fed to make that first move. Not just those two central banks, but other central banks around the world being quite patient when it comes to making the move downward on interest rates. Eventually, they're going to come here in 23. The question is when.
Right. And of course, you've been speaking to audiences in both Canada and the U.S. this winter. And how much attention do you think those farmers are paying to what those interest rates are going to do in 2024?
I think a lot. There's a number of reasons. One, there's a lot of farm debt out there. So servicing the debt has become more expensive as interest rates came up post-pandemic. And the other part is, I think interest rates going down will also be positive for things like the land market. So farmers obviously paying very close attention to that. And based on what we've seen with some of the machinery sales and some of the slowness or slowing for new and used equipment, it would also be good for that kind of sector to have lower financing costs. So with the amount of money that's borrowed out there, I think farmers are paying very, very close attention in terms of what the direction is of interest rates and how quickly these cuts come here in 24.
Right, such an impact financially. That was host of Real Ag Radio, Sean Haney. Appreciate your time. And this Real Ag Radio update is brought to you by Heads Up Plant Protectants. You can go to headsupst.com for more information on their products. And you can catch Sean on his show, Real Ag Radio, which airs at 4:30 p.m. Eastern weekdays on Rural Radio, channel 147 on Sirius XM. And we'll talk to him again on Monday on Market Day Report.